Let's talk about Pepe, the defender who probably saw the phrase, "defense wins you titles," and decided to interpret it as win at all costs, no matter how many yellow cards you collect. Seriously, this guy was a walking headline. Tackles, stamps, headbutts. Pepe did it all. Across his career, he picked up a jaw-dropping 212 yellow cards and 17 red cards. The man was a menace, and while many players feared him, there were a few brave souls who stood up to Pepe and lived to tell the tale. Let's dive into the stories of 7 players who dared to fight him. And trust me, these stories are wild. But stick around, because the final player on this list didn't just stand up to Pepe, he gave him a taste of his own medicine in a way you won't believe. Javi Casquero. Let's kick things off with one of the most infamous incidents in Pepe's career. It's 2009 Real Madrid versus Getafe, and the stakes are sky high. Late in the game, Pepe fouled Javi Casquero in the box, giving away a penalty. But instead of accepting the decision, Pepe lost his mind. He kicked Casquero while he was on the ground, then stamped on his back for good measure. When another Getafe player approached, Pepe threw a punch. It was pure chaos. Pepe was sent off and hit with a 10-game ban. Looking back, this was the closest Pepe came to ending his career. But even after all that, he never apologized to Casquero. Classic Pepe, right? Nah. And that's just the beginning. If you think this story was bad, wait until we get to the time Pepe clashed with one of his own teammates. Mamadou Loum. Fast forward to 2021. Pepe had returned to Porto, where he was expected to be a veteran leader. But old habits die hard. After a match against Firenze, teammate Mamadou Loum went to celebrate with Pepe. He whispered something in Pepe's ear, and Pepe snapped. He shoved Loum, and the two squared up like they were about to headline a boxing match. Luckily, teammates stepped in before it got worse. Honestly, what did Loum think was going to happen? Hugging Pepe was risky enough, let alone trash-talking him. If you think this was wild, let's take it back to Pepe's early days and a training ground fight that's become the stuff of legend. Javier Balboa. Here's a lesser-known story from Pepe's early days at Real Madrid. In 2007, during a training session, Pepe went in hard on Javier Balboa, a youth player. Balboa, to his credit, didn't back down. Words were exchanged, tempers flared, and before anyone knew it, punches were being thrown. Teammates had to separate them, but can you imagine being a young player and squaring up to Pepe? Balboa's bravery, or recklessness, is legendary in its own right. It's not every day you see someone take on a guy like Pepe and hold their ground. If you think that Pepe's aggression stayed on the training pitch, think again. The next story shows Pepe targeting one of the greatest players of all time and getting away with it. Lionel Messi. Now let's talk about one of Pepe's greatest rivalries, Lionel Messi. Real Madrid versus Barcelona is football's most explosive fixture, and when Pepe was on the pitch, it was like adding gasoline to the fire. In 2012, during a Spanish Cup match, things boiled over. Pepe had one goal that day: stop Messi at all costs. And when Messi was fouled and lying on the ground, Pepe saw his opportunity. He walked over and, with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer, stepped on Messi's hand. The cameras caught everything, but somehow, Pepe escaped punishment. Messi, ever the professional, shrugged it off and let his football do the talking. Pepe might have wins in his mind, but let's face it, no one truly wins when they stoop that low. But Pepe's antics weren't limited to rival players. Sometimes his battles were all about revenge, like the time Thomas Müller got the better of him on football's biggest stage. Thomas Müller. Thomas Müller, the Bayern Munich forward, who's as cheeky as they come. Now, you wouldn't think Müller would be the guy to go toe-to-toe with Pepe, but in 2014, he pulled off one of the most cunning bits of revenge football has ever seen. Let me set the stage. It's the 2014 Champions League semi-finals. Real Madrid humiliated Bayern Munich over 2 legs, with Pepe acting as the ultimate wall in defense. Bayern couldn't get through him, and you can bet that stung for players like Müller. fast forward to the 2014 World Cup, and Müller finally had his chance for payback. Germany faced Portugal in their opening game. Pepe was ready for battle, but Müller had other ideas. Early in the game, Pepe caught Müller with a flailing arm. It wasn't much, but Müller, being the master of drama, made it look like he'd been hit by a bus. Pepe, furious, walked over to Müller, who was sitting on the ground, and leaned his head right into his. And just like that, the referee pulled out a red card. Germany went on to win 4-0, with Müller scoring a hat-trick. Pepe was fuming, but Müller, he got the last laugh. If this was chess, Müller played Pepe like a grandmaster. But wait until you hear about the time Pepe clashed with someone who held the ultimate authority on the pitch. Pepe versus a referee. Pepe's aggression didn't just stop at players. In a 2012 match against Villarreal, Pepe completely lost it. Not at an opponent, but at the referee. Real Madrid were top of the league, but cracks were starting to show. Villarreal equalized late in the game, and Madrid's frustrations boiled over. Mesut Ozil, Sergio Ramos, and even Jose Mourinho were sent off. But Pepe? He waited until the final whistle before really going for it. In the tunnel, he charged at the referee, screaming insults. It was so bad, people had to hold him back. If you thought Pepe was fiery on the pitch, imagine him off it with no cameras around. Let's just say this moment is one for the football gossip books. And finally, the most shocking story of them all. When a young player stood up to Pepe and completely flipped the script. Kai Havertz. Even in his later years, Pepe couldn't resist the drama. In the 2021 Champions League quarterfinals, Porto faced Chelsea. Enter Kai Havertz, a young forward who isn't exactly known for his physicality. But that didn't stop Pepe from targeting him. In one duel, Pepe elbowed Havertz in the face. Classic Pepe. But Havertz, spurred on by Thomas Tuchel's orders to match Porto's intensity, decided to give Pepe a taste of his own medicine. In a later clash, Havertz body-checked Pepe, sending the veteran sprawling to the ground. For once, the bully got bullied. Watching Pepe get flattened by a player half his age? Chef's kiss. Pepe's career is one for the history books. He's a player who thrived on aggression, intimidation, and, let's be honest, a little bit of chaos. But for every outrageous tackle or red card, there's a story of someone standing up to him. Who's your favorite player that went toe-to-toe with Pepe? Did we miss any legendary battles? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more football stories. Until next time.